away.
Welcome back to Tight Sports. This is my recap of the Alabama versus Mississippi State game. Just want to talk about what happened, good, bad, the ugly. But before we even get to that, over at University of Alabama in Birmingham, Trent Dilfer had a massive blow up on the sideline, and a couple of people are saying, "Oh, this is embarrassing." Matter of fact, ESPN's Stephen A. He says, "Oh, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing," and I couldn't get past that. I was trying to get the channel changed to get away from that dude because remember when Stephen A. was coaching that team, and then the player he got that penalty, that foul, he got put in the penalty box. No, you don't. You don't. Nobody was at practice with UAB, and when Trent Dilfer was probably sitting there, Coach Dilfer was like, and I'm not bumping for him because I don't know him. I saw him when he went off on a little young man. But you know what? Some of these little teenagers, they be tripping. They be tripping. You need to sit down. And when I say sit down, I really do mean sit down. Football ain't for the faint of heart. You can't go sit down. But I wonder, going back to UAB, how many times during summer, 2 days, and spring, just practicing, how many times did he say, "Hey, coach, y'all need to get it together on your transitions here. When we're going from nickel to 3-3-5, 3-3-3-5, and we're going from dime, and these guys are getting stuck, in a game where everybody's out here just lofting, taking 55 seconds to get in place. We only have about 30 seconds, 25 seconds, whatever. You're going to get us a penalty. Hey, coach, you need to clean it up. Hey, coach, you need to clean it up. Hey, coach, you need to clean it up." Then we get to the game. We're down by 7, and you give me a penalty because we got illegal substitution going on because obviously the people in charge of knowing who should be on the field hadn't told the people that's going on the field and coming off the field who's supposed to be on the field. But then y'all want Trent Dilfer to pull out the old trusty Meade notepad, write it down and address it later. Sorry, gonna handle this right now. Now I'm telling you this right now. If Trent Dilfer turns out to be a perennial loser, he'll get fired. But if he turns out he wins a conference championship, he just keep winning conference championships. Something UAB, I don't know if they've ever won a conference championship in football. They may have won more in basketball. But if he ends up winning 8 to 10 games a year, it's because he would have put his proverbial foot up that program's butt and get it in tip-top shape. Because that's not what top programs do. This is why Saban's over there giving everybody, they call it the A-chewing. His A-chewings are classic. But nobody says nothing because he was winning. But if we go back, roll that clock back, when he was at the Dolphins, oh, yeah, people have been Me Too. Cliff Huxtable, great Hollywood producers out there, the Weinstein. People have been Me Too. But if y'all remember, Nick Saban almost got Me Too'd out of the NFL because he gave somebody a classic A-chewing, a grown man who began to weep on the football field on camera. Why was he crying? My father told me, when you see a man crying, it ain't like looking at a little 5-year-old boy crying. When you see a man crying, that man is ready to delete somebody. And when you're in a situation, when you're in a position of you're under the authority of others, you can't. So you begin to burn so hot inside, you may begin to weep. So let's not forget, I haven't seen too many coaches that have won Super Bowls without letting some angry words go, like a Tony Dungy, or even I know Todd Bowles he was the defensive coordinator at the time with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I have not seen too many, even winners. Jordan got classic lashing out of his team. Who else? Kobe, Magic got a couple things he said to people to get them going. Sometimes you don't like it. You don't like to be pushed. Bird, pushing people. Let's go. Was the great oh man, Moses Malone with the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah, he took a couple people he took them to the mountaintop, but Moses had to cast down a couple of tablets on top of some teammates' heads. Yeah, so most of the coaches, basketball coaches, may not like it. Phil Jackson get crazy. Jimmy Johnson say, that dude that fell asleep in my meeting, he gotta go. Michael Irvin sleep, get him a pillow. But we all know football ain't for the faint of heart. So that's my piece on it. That's that man's team. And you know what? We're all free. You don't like getting the HU? You know what you can do? There's not one person that's a part of a college football staff unless they got some kind of outstanding stuff we don't know about. But typically, any one of those guys could apply to become a high school football coach anywhere in the country. But you know what? They don't want to do that. They like the big six-figure jobs, not the small six-figure jobs or the upper middle five-figure jobs. They want the big six-figure jobs. So you know what? They're going to take an HU in every once in a while. And they'll pass that on to their team. There are players, there are other assistants and staff, and they give them a little bit of HUing or a little bit of guidance, a little coaching up, and they keep their jobs. But if you don't have to put up with it. If you're working at a warehouse for Walmart, if you're working for Amazon, if you're doing programming for Google, and they chewing you out, hey man, you are free to move about the country. That's just my piece on. Let's get to this Mississippi State victory. Alabama victory over Mississippi State. You know what I'm talking about. Woo! So let's get into it. Starting out the game, Alabama started off with 2 key sacks, losing all type of field position and ended up punting. The next possession, they fumbled the ball, got it back, but that drive also ended in a punt. Not a good way to start a game. I'm just thinking of if that was Kentucky, if that was Georgia, if that's Texas A&M, do you get it back? Huh? You think you can just fumble your way all the way to a victory? No. Then, got the ball back. Hey, Milroe got a 53-yard TD. It was a busted play. He saw a scene, and with his, speed, he took advantage. Defense came back and got a pick six. Okay, helter skelter, yin yang. I don't know which one is yin. I don't know which one is yang. But hey, this is looking pretty good. So next, we brought back to it. It was this drive rather. Alabama had a 2nd and 2. So I'm thinking, pound the rock. They have an identity as a running team. McClellan and Williams, they doing their thing. The line has been, the pass blocking has been something because, them sacks, but they failed to get 2 yards in 2 plays. Is that going to work against Texas A&M? I seen their line. I think they're better than Mississippi State. Mississippi State's usually strong on defense, especially on the defensive line. They got plenty of people in the pros to prove it. Wow. Say that fast 3 times. But, they did get the field goal out of that drive. But I'm not feeling good about this, folks. Next, we got a touchdown drive. And then they got an interception that they turned into a touchdown drive. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of good things that happen. Like I said, the running game is becoming a real weapon. Thank God. The O-line, Jason McClellan, Rodale Williams doing their thing. Their passing game is there when they block and when we make the right decisions. But we just got to stop the sacks. Whether we're not, I don't know if we're not able to deal with the, picking up the blitzes or whatever. But Milroe's doing his thing. He trusts a little bit too much in his feet at times to extend the play instead of just taking off or, throwing the ball out of bounds. But some of the sacks have just been like coming in crushing. So I don't know if he sees the extra guy when he's making his little pre-snap reads, but they got to work on that. Now that fumble, it's inexcusable. They got 3rd graders out there that's snapping the ball consistently. It was funny. My son was playing for his 8th grade team, and they made him a center. And I was like, center? What? I was like, center. Okay. So I was expecting all that, rolling the ball, but my son don't even watch football. He's playing JV now. I think it's his last year, but he don't. Hey, son, let's watch the. Hey, you want to Super Bowl? He is there to eat, and he prefers to cook. He's a chef in training and an engineer. Hey, why not? Just something to do on the way to heaven. So anyway, I thought he would roll the ball. Did not have a bad snap the whole season. Got to the last game and made every error you could possibly make. Roll the ball, snap one over the quarterback's head. The worst one was just rolling the ball. Just when you try to do a long snap in the shotgun, it just rolls back like in a way where you can't reach it, and the quarterback got to run up to get it. It was just totally horrible. But I don't expect to see people at this level of football in the top 50 do too much of that, especially if you want to beat others in the top 50. But bright spots, the Will Riker. Will Riker, Mr. Consistency. I don't want to jinx it. He's doing his job. Special teams had a good game. I have at no point in the game can I be like, oh, you causing us whatever. So special teams, you get an A. Defense, definitely get an A. Anytime you putting points on the board and stopping drives with interceptions, I don't even look at the second half. I know this is the first half, but in the second half, people are tired. I mean, how many of us, we do things when we get tired, but we don't do it as well. This is why I make the analysis to me. I can look at the first half and tell what we're going to do something in the second half. And now running game is there, but it hadn't gotten to the point where we can just take over a third quarter. Because that's what Alabama does. Nick Saban had his team at one time when they got to the third quarter and they had any kind of lead, that's when they're going to take all the strength out of your legs, period. But they're coming, but they haven't gotten there. And like I say, I think they're still going to work in that tight end at times. And I will say this too. They had 6 penalties for 40 yards. Now I'll take it because that's almost over 50% reduction than where they were. And they were smaller penalties, I think we had one pass interference, if I'm not mistaken. That was a phantom pass interference, but whatever. 6 for 40, I'll take it. But looking at the score, it was 31-10 at halftime. So, Nick pretty much puts the brakes on things once he gets up. He ain't worried about people gambling. But it could have easily have been 38 for 41 to 3. If, and like Coach Saban said, improvements can be made everywhere. And those are kind of improvements that would turn this type of game into a 38, 41 point game in the first half to 3. Because every time the defense would get beat, I could see it. So I know he's going to see it and he's going to work on it. The sacks are still up too high. Offense is a yin-yang and affair when it comes to that pass game, and there's going to be plenty of chewing to go around for everybody. But the defense played well. Very well. They're not stellar defense. They are on their way. They've learned what to do. I think they have to start doing it even when they're exhausted and banged up. But they, 3 turnovers. That's why they get an A. Special teams, we talked about that. But the offense has a running identity. That's not a bad thing. But we can throw the ball when we need to. Nye Black, Bond, Burton. The receivers need more wins out there, and they need, a couple more balls to keep them happy. I wouldn't be surprised to see us hurting in recruiting next year because I don't know unless something seriously changes. Is Milroe going to attract a 5-star receiver, knowing that we have people that are already there and knowing that there are not that many balls going around? Because I don't have a problem staying where we are as long as we're winning. Milroe's doing what he can do to win, and that builds confidence. But going into Texas A&M, we're going to need a 95. I think, Alabama's favorite, but I think we're going to need a 95% execution rate. Everybody execute on a 95% of all your encounters. If they execute at a 95% rate, we can blow these guys out the water. But if we do stuff like this, 2 sacks and a fumble, and then we come back and we can't get 2 yards in 2 downs. It's bad because he kicked the field goal, but a lot of more aggressive coach would be like, okay, We couldn't get 2 yards and 2 downs. Maybe we can get it in third down. But common sense says, you know what? Take the 3. Let me deliver some butt chewing, coach them up a little bit, and let's send them back out there. And it resulted in a touchdown drive, a long touchdown drive on the next possession. But all in all, I still get an offense. I'm gonna give them a B minus. B minus, real close to that C minus. I don't know what their school systems they got, but I'm real close to that C minus line right there. But all in all, I think we're ready to move on. I did see a lot of improvement. If I was to look at since the Texas game, I would say they're making 10% improvements every game, and just the execution. Defense is executing at about 85%, whereas the offense is, like I say right there, that's 78%, and you're adding those mistakes. Can you have 2 sacks to start the game, a fumble on the next series to cause punts against Texas A&M? We're gonna see. We're gonna watch. But that's all I got for now. I look forward to seeing this weekend. I want to thank you guys for tuning in with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made you smile. Please like this video, share it with others, and also become a subscriber. We really need you. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day.